Earnestly Speaking Podcast coming to you on October 20th, 2022. What is going on is the Thursday edition of the podcast. So glad to be with you guys. Of course, this podcast, subscribe to all podcast catchers such as Amazon. I'm going to alphabetical order here. Amazon, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, whatever it may be. Okay, I'm way too excited right now. Way too excited. Well, I am excited because the NBA basketball is back. The Yankees lost last night. I'm happy about that as well, too. Sorry, Yankee fans, that listen to this podcast. One day I'll explain to you guys why I hate the Yankees so much. It has nothing to do with the fact I hate the team. It's just, certain people in my life through the years have made it hard to digest that team, honestly. But anyway, but although I will say there's only one team I hate more than the Yankees, and that's the Philadelphia Phillies. And they also in LCS too. But we'll get to that later on in the podcast. Of course, subscribe. Like I said, subscribe to all the podcast catchers, of course. Keep this short and simple because we're going to have on Zack The Degenerate on the back end of the show as we do week 7 each of the Degenerate. I won again. I'm not up 4-2 on our picks of the week. And then, of course, before that, we'll have on Mikey B for his segment, which I guess we'll call him the Burn Ward or Burn Unit or some shit. I don't know exactly what we're doing there with that one, with the name of it, whatever. It doesn't matter. We'll talk about obviously his rankings, and we'll compare his rankings to mine from that he released on Tuesday. We'll talk about his Celtics, who they look really good. We'll talk about that in a second, and especially the baseball playoffs right now too. But I want to spend this segment right now for the next couple minutes talking about right now this is day 3 since the NBA season started. I wanted to give my 5 takeaways from the last 48 hours of the NBA season since it started. Okay, and let me start here first. I'll go homer first because it's the Miami Heat losing last night Chicago. Great start to the game. Should have ran with that game in the first quarter, first half. Tyler Hero came on fire. So was Jimmy Butler. They did their job last night. But then they lose Chicago. The second half, they just played like crap, and they lost. The second half. Bam Adebayo looked like absolute dog shit last night. I'm sorry. You guys know I love Bam. I love me some Bam Adebayo. So it's not a criticism of him, though one can argue that there is still that issue of him getting to the next level. Can he? Same thing coming to the year I said. The Heat are a championship contender if and only if Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo can go to another level. They're being paid as such. That's the thing. They're being paid as born elite players. So that's an expectation we have of them. Now Tyler Hero did his job last night, so I'm not going to give him crap for that. But Bam looked like he was playing game number 62 of the year instead of game number 1. Like he was like kind of like out there. And I know people saying, hey EJ, relax. It's only one game, 81 to go. Yes, this is true. This is very true. However, what have I been saying to you guys before the year started? That this season on paper is unique because for the first time in decades, both conferences are deep of playoff potential teams. Okay? When you add in the play-in situation now also on top of that, it gets a little tricky. So when Kendrick Perkins on ESPN said before the year started that he can see the Heat being a play-in team, it wasn't an insult to the Heat. It was more acknowledging the environment of the Eastern Conference. And I said this on this podcast weeks ago. Look, I don't think there'll be a play-in team because the one thing I will say about the Heat is that culture and that coaching staff. And Eric Spoelstra's a fantastic coach. I'm the biggest Eric Spoelstra advocate on the planet. No one's better than me on that one. That is the damn truth. Because when people were trying to fire his ass in 2010, I was one saying you guys are absolutely fucking ridiculous. Calm your asses down. All right? Calm your asses down. But the East on paper looks much better. Atlanta's better. Cleveland's better. Toronto's going to be pretty decent. I'm not even acknowledging the top. The obvious, the Phillies, the Milwaukee's, the Bostons. The Brooklyns. Not else than that. And this is where I'm worried already because out the gate, you lost Chicago last night, who Chicago just didn't have the best player last, Zach LaVine out last night, didn't play. And Lonzo Ball, who's out, maybe out for the year, who knows. Now you're playing Boston, Well, I'll get to in a second. On Friday night. Okay. And then Toronto, home and home. And Toronto looked pretty good last night against Cleveland, for the record. You know? So if you go back and say, let's say the Heat miss a higher seeding, or let's say they get knocked into a play-in situation because, they by one game. These are the games like last night you look at as, damn, if we did our job that night, we would have avoided a play-in situation. That's why I'm a little more on edge just worrying about this loss. Look, I think they'll figure it out. I think they'll figure it out. They'll won't be a playing team, but like I said, this is one of those years where there isn't a lot of throwaway games, you will, this year. Normally, teams have throwaway games. They can have a few anomalies, and they call it not this year, buddy, not this year. Another takeaway too. Also, I mentioned the Celtics, and it's been 2 days since the opener against Philadelphia. Obviously, Ime Udoka's not there anymore because of the suspension for the year. But man, they're gonna be a problem. Like, I know it's just one game, but what I tell you guys, I said before for you to see that Malcolm Brogdon, they need Malcolm Brogdon, and you saw last night why you need him. I looked at the two J's also on Tuesday, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, 35 points each. Holy shit! And they'll get Rob Williams back at some point. It's going to be a problem. And one game. But I'm already there. I'm going to say it. Jason Tatum, dark horse MVP candidate. You talk about players taking the next step, the next leap. That guy, I'm watching that guy. Can he take the next leap? If what we saw on Tuesday night rather, was a sign of things to come for this 2022-23 NBA season, yep. It might be Boston's the favorites in the Eastern Conference, not Milwaukee, not Brooklyn. Because let's forget, also these guys were in the finals last year, so that they went through an experience last season that you can take that as motivation to get better. So Boston's going to be a problem going forward. Number 3, the Lakers. Rest in peace, Lakers. They need to make changes, obviously. And I hate that Russell Westbrook is being the pylon here, except the only way they're going to really change things around that roster is to move him. Nothing against him. He plays with fire. He had a double-double on Tuesday. I'm not saying he was the reason they lost or they, whatever. But they need shooters badly. Even LeBron James acknowledged that at his presser after the game. It's funny. They need shooters, right? And yet you extend Rob Pelinka, the general manager, to a contract extension a couple weeks ago. Isn't this a Rob Pelinka problem? How do you give that guy more years if you can't even fix the problems in that team? That we've acknowledged for a couple of years now that LeBron is only dangerous when he has shooters around him. Every GM and coach knows that. When LeBron has surrounded by shooters, he's unstoppable. You give him lasers, I think you call it lasers every night. Or snipers, if you will. And Rob Pelinka, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you knew this last year. Why aren't there shooters on the team now? I don't get it. The Lakers are going to be they're a mess. And, this is before we even acknowledge that Anthony Davis, will he be healthy this year? And look, I might be measuring them against Golden State, obviously, because Golden State's on another tier. Golden State is the NBA champion, so obviously I'm not going to measure them against the Golden State Warriors. But I'm not even sure if they can beat Minnesota or compete Minnesota for the crying out loud in the middle of the Western Conference at this point. Because LeBron, as great as he is, and he's going to pass Kareem for the all-time lead in points, and deservedly so, because he's on the Mount Rushmore. He's that dude. But he's also 37, turned 38 in December. And he should be carrying a team that's 23 in the league. AD's got to step up. And if Russ is going to be there, might as well he step up too in the process. They need shooters badly. And the only way they're going to be able to do that is to move Russell Westbrook. Sorry. Quite frankly, I'm going to say the thing that's probably going to be very popular. I'll say anyway. If this year goes to shit for the Lakers, maybe it's time to blow the whole thing up, right? The whole thing. Down from even we have to consider LeBron. He's got a new contract, a couple months ago. But still, they're a mess. All right, next, number 4 on my list of things here. The New Orleans Pelicans. Again, one game, not overreacting, that kind of thing. But, man, you saw them in Brooklyn last night? Man, if those three can stay healthy, I'm talking about Brandon Ingram, I'm talking about Zion Williamson, and let's throw C.J. McCollum in that mix because he's just got an extension, too, before the year started. If that core can stay healthy and continue to play the way they played last night, New Orleans might be the buster in the entire Western Conference. Because around those three guys, too, they got talent. And let's forget, last year, they started, 3-17 or something like that? Made the play-in, made the playoffs, took Phoenix to 6 games, almost 7. The team with the most wins in the season last year. And now you got Zion back? And by the way, Brandon Ingram, I forgot, and obviously Zion being back is amazing. But Brandon Ingram's finally figured it out. He had his breakthrough last year, his superstar moment, if you would call it, where like, oh yeah, that guy is legit now. It's not just some guy who's talented but can't stay consistent. Last year, he figured it out, and now if he can make that work with Zion and McCollum, that team is going to be a problem in the West, man. They're going to be a problem because not only that, they also have great talent around that too. Especially, I was impressed with New Orleans last night. I was. It wasn't that the fact they beat Brooklyn in Brooklyn, obviously, because I think they can do it to any team any given night when they're locked in. But they got to stay healthy, man. But man, to me, that was the performance of the night for me. Was watching that team do what they did last night out the gate, lay a statement. And much like the Eastern Conference, I'm gonna say it too in the Western Conference as well, that there is no space for throwaways. I think New Orleans knows that. Because if the Lakers make a move and improve things, there'll be a problem, obviously, in the Western Conference if they do those things. Man, this is going to be a fun year. The Nets, my fifth thing, same game. I'm not going to panic, obviously. Kyrie even said himself, we need to get better. This is good for us. We need to, get things in order. Okay. I'm going to tell you right now, I think Steve Nash on the clock. I think if this team starts off really slow in the first month or two, he's gone. He's gone. That simple. So, anyway, those are my 5 takeaways from the first 48 hours in the NBA. Let's bring on Mikey B now as we talk more about his power rankings and his Celtics, especially, too. As I said, they look great on Tuesday. So, here we go. All right, it is Mikey B. We're going to call it Burn Ward, or what are we doing this now? Burn unit? Burn Ward? What are we doing this?
Burn Ward.
The Burn Ward. You and your Bengals cup there. How you doing, man?
Currently drinking tangerine liquid IV so I don't dehydrate tomorrow working.
Oh, ooh. No good. All right, so we'll touch on a couple of things outside of the power rankings in a second. But let's get the power rankings first. Like I said on the Tuesday episode, I did reveal mine already. I'm now here to look at yours and see where you got it wrong, in my opinion. We'll
relax, Kyle Nash.
I ain't as bad as Kyle Nash when it comes to that shit. You're wrong and you be wrong in your wrongness. No. Anyway, so let's go to the bottom 5, the sad 5 first. 20-32, run down. Let's see where you're at, and I'll compare.
At 32, I have the 5 quarterback round table of the Carolina Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
At 31, I have Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears.
Mm-hmm.
At 30, I have the now Tyler Heineke-led Washington Commodores.
Yep.
This is where things get interesting.
All right. I'm looking for this one.
At 29, they did not play this week, but they moved down because of other teams having a decent week. Give me the Las Vegas Raiders.
Okay.
And last, but certainly not least in the bottom 5, at 28, Broncos Country. Let's ride.
So obviously your bottom 3 exactly is my bottom 3. We don't
because that's the only because if you have anybody else in the bottom 3 but those 3 teams, I don't care what your order is.
Right.
If you have any other 3 in the bottom 3, you're wrong.
I already knew that Detroit wouldn't be in yours because you've been a lot higher in Detroit, even with the struggles as of late. So I get that.
Here's the thing. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt that Swift and St. Brown basically both didn't play the last 2 games before the bye week. Right. If this team comes out and lays a fucking egg this week, they're going to be in the bottom 5 next week.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Also, so you have Vegas in the bottom 5. Okay, so I said last week on the podcast, they just had a bye week. That Vegas might be the greatest 1-4 team in history in the NFL. I'm not ready to write them off this yet. That's probably why I don't have my bottom 5. Oh, they were there 2 weeks ago. But I see why they're there. I totally get that. Denver, I'll be honest with you, it got consideration. Here's
the thing about Russ and this fiasco that is the Denver Broncos. It's easy to blame Nathaniel Hackett because he's making it easy on us as a community of sports fans.
Right.
He's making it increasingly easier to put this team in the bottom 5 with his play calling. But let's talk about this. I said on this very show, Russell Wilson, the first year in Denver, his stat lines won't look as good because he does not have DK Metcalf and he does not have Tyler Lockett to throw the football to.
You're winning that battle. And then you and Zach got into it over the summer about that, actually.
Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy are basically like having me and you out there right now.
No,
They're
I agree.
not doing anything to get open.
And what's sad is that their defense has been fantastic.
Sure. They kept the fucking Chargers to like 185 yards of total offense on Monday night. Justin Herbert threw for 85 yards and has thrown a touchdown basically in every game he's played in except for this one.
Yep.
This defense doesn't deserve this piss hole of an offense. And let's be real here. Nathaniel Hackett, let's sign Latavius Murray and then have him go out there and run. Melvin Gordon isn't fucking relevant. Mike Boone was cool for like a week. There's too much moving here. And guess what, guys? It's not going to get better because they don't have a first-round pick this year.
Nope.
They don't got a second-round pick this year. Oh, and by the way, they gave Russ $245 million. So you can't go fucking sign an offensive line to go block for him. They're not good.
No. I guess the question is real quick is, do you think Denver can fix their issues within the season? Are these fixable issues?
To be honest with you, fix it to make a run for a Super Bowl or fix it to get above 500 and compete for a playoff spot?
The latter. Yeah.
Sure. Because I truly believe that the AFC, when you take a step back and look at it, New England is eventually going to come back to earth once people get film on Bailey Zappi. You're waiting for the Jets' collapse. The AFC North is going to beat the absolute fuck out of each other. If Denver can steal 2 games from Vegas, if it can split with the Chargers, they can beat them the next time they play. They got some favorable matchups coming up. There's nobody in the AFC South that's really fighting.
It's why I said the Raiders aren't out of it yet for the same reason you just said that.
I truly don't. Here's the thing. I don't think Denver is per se out of the race.
Right.
The problem is they're not doing themselves any favors. You have a team like the Chargers and high-powered offense that's going to score 35 points a game. That is letting you hold them to 16 points. That's a game you need to find a way to fucking win.
Oh, I agree. 100%. 100%.
Week 1 against fucking Seattle. I get it. Russell Wilson playing his old team. Nathaniel Hackett's shitty offensive play calling. Guess what?
Melvin Gordon's 2 fumbles on the goal line.
Russ could audible if he fucking wanted to.
Yeah.
And he chose to fucking sit here and just be in mediocrity. Well, guess what? Geno Smith with the same 2 wide receivers is cooking. And what's Russ doing right now? Trying to light a fire.
No, you're not wrong, bud.
And his teammates don't look like they give a single fuck what he's saying right now. Right. Jerry Jeudy and Melvin Gordon on the sidelines on Monday night look like somebody shit in their Wheaties.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. All right, so let's go 10-6 for the next batch of 5 here. And talk about that.
All right, at number 10, give me the New York Football Giants. Number 9, the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
Number 8, go Chargers, go. Number 7, the LA Rams. Number 6, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay, so I guess my big gripe here on this, I think I discussed it on the Huddle Up podcast last night when you were chiming in on that, is the Rams. Now, I do agree that as a Super Bowl champion, they should get a lot more leash. But I think the reason I've been so tough on the Rams, especially this year, especially now, is that I have not seen one complete game from them this year. And this is the thing. This is the reason why I've given San Fran a little more leeway. Is that San Francisco has shown me multiple times this year, including beating the Rams this year already, that when things are together, they show me good football. Even in the Rams wins, they look pedestrian in comparison to last year, anyway. You know, so that's where I think the Rams thing for me is a little tough to swallow these into Week 7. Your thoughts?
You're literally sitting here telling me that because of the fucking inept idiocracy of Cam Akers thinking that he's a number one running back in the National Football League and causing a fucking dumpster fire that's eventually going to get him shipped the fuck out of Los Angeles.
They're working on that now, that said.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. He's gone. Cool. Let Darrell Henderson be your number one running back. Mm-hmm. And by the way, the quarterback is playing through a fucking elbow injury with his to a throwing elbow. And by the way, they still have one of the best defenses in football. The argument of they have not played a complete game, sure. If you want to go with that route, I'm pretty sure they played a complete game against Arizona. But
that's it. Yeah, that's the only one I think I stood out.
But when you look at the 49ers, the only complete game that I truly feel that they've played was against the Rams. That was the beneficiary of 2 Matt Stafford interceptions, one of them being returned for a touchdown. But when I look at the Rams compared to the 49ers, I'm taking Matt Stafford over Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm taking Darrell Henderson over the clusterfuck that the San Francisco 49ers have at fucking running back. And, Cooper Kupp, Deebo Samuels, you whitewash them. You lean Brandon Ayuk over Allen Robinson just because Jimmy will throw the ball to Ayuk. Yeah. Higbee and Kittle is closer than people want to talk about. I get it. Kittle's the cool fantasy relevant fucking tight end. And
he's healthy, of course, yeah.
But Higbee's been having a great year for him. He's been a good valve for Matt Stafford that's going very under talked about. When I look at it, you want to compare the defenses, they both have their strong suits. The pass rush of the Rams is good. The secondary of the 49ers is good. They're both serviceable. They're both they have that mix and match where it's like, oh, okay, if you took these two teams and took the best from both of them and made one super team, they'd be a really, really, really good team.
Yeah.
The problem is that's not what we're doing here. And to be honest with you, I do not like the San Francisco 49er backfield. I think that is the biggest question mark in that entire division. It's not will Geno Smith collapse. It's not is Kyler Murray too short to see over his offensive line. It's not is Matt Stafford ever going to throw a football to someone not named Tyler Higbee or Cooper Kupp. It's who the fuck is going to be the running back for the goddamn 49ers this week. One week it's Jeff Wilson. The next week it's somebody else. The week after that they might try to trade for Raheem Mostert again. The week after that they might see if fucking Kadarius Toney's available from you guys. He can play running back so he can get hurt again. It doesn't there's no sense to what they're doing in the backfield. Here's the thing. They pick up the phone right now and they say, hey, Carolina, what's your offering price for Christian McCaffrey? They go get themselves a number one fucking running back. That puts them in the conversation. Now there's solidity in that offense. The fact that Deebo Samuels is probably your number one fucking running back is a problem, especially in the middle of a playoff race, because now if your best receiver is in the backfield, you can keep pressing that line of scrimmage a little bit. And if Trent Williams is still dinged up, now Jimmy's running for his fucking life.
Right. Everything else, like not in the same spot, but it's close to so you have the Chargers at 8. I have them at 9. Mm-hmm. I have the Cowboys. At I think at was it 8? You have 9. We have the Cowboys at 7. 9. So, okay. So our differences, other than the Rams, everything else is virtually the same.
You have the Niners in your top 10. I have the Rams in mine.
Right. I think that's the big difference from everything else.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now your top 5. 5-1.
Baltimore Ravens at 5.
Okay.
Give me Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings at 4.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the Kansas City Chiefs at 3. I'll take EAGLES Eagles at 2. And at number 1, the Buffalo Bills.
So our top 5 is exactly the same.
Because I think that's the only top 5 that makes sense.
And I think I think you and I have the same idea here is like look, I don't know how you feel about Minnesota moving forward, macro, big picture. Like they are a very good team, and they could win a playoff game, maybe even 2.
I've been the biggest Kurt Coupins supporter on this show.
Yes, for years,
and no, not just for years, but I'm saying this season alone. I've been the biggest Kurt Coupins supporter on this show. I've been the biggest Kurt Coupins supporter on the Huddle Up feed as I type in while you guys are talking. Because here's the thing. Everyone wants to talk about how great Patrick LeVon Mahomes is. Absolutely. Everyone wants to talk about how great Josh Allen is. Absolutely. Look at the fucking weapons those guys have around them.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Coupins was yelling, "Do you like that?" with rookie Terry McLaurin as his best wide receiver in Washington. He now has Thielen. He now has Jefferson. He now has one of the best running backs in football in Dalvin Cook, who's actually staying healthy this year. Right. Alexander Madison's been pretty damn good for them also. So when you look at it from that perspective, let's talk about it. Kurt Coupins, not great on primetime football. Fine. It is what it is. Guess what? Their only loss is to the best team in the fucking conference.
Yeah. No, and I can't.
Maybe when Dallas gets Dak Prescott back, maybe they're ahead of Minnesota.
No, and again, I'm not one of those either who jumps on the Kirk Cousins like, oh, he's like da-da-da. I've been one of the guys that's given a little bit of pass. I actually love the roster. I mean, I've been saying the last couple of years, and they let me down the last couple of years, as one of the teams that can, make some noise in the NFC playoffs.
And what let you down? Dalvin Cook being hurt.
Right. That's part of it. That's definitely part of it.
That offense, when everybody is healthy, that offense can score. Cut and dry.
Right. Like I said, it's more of a trust factor. They deserve number 4, though, obviously. I didn't panic on Baltimore. They should have beaten New York on Sunday. If you look at that stat line and block out the score, Ravens win that game running away.
I'm close, though, to doing the same thing I did on this show 2 weeks ago.
Which is what?
Hitting the panic button.
On the Ravens?
On the Ravens, like I did the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Right.
You cannot let football games like this slip through your fingers. You've blown 2 double-digit leads to 2 teams in your own conference. That's going to end up fucking you for home field advantage throughout. You're now fucking even further behind the 8 ball of the Buffalo Bills. Not to mention, you're 25 seconds away from losing to the Cincinnati Bengals last week in a game or 2 weeks ago. You're literally 25 seconds away from being 6-0 or 2-4. And here's the thing. Lamar Jackson can only do so much. Yeah. Rashad Bateman doesn't play. Their wide receiving core looked like dog shit. Devin Duvernay is not a number 1 wide receiver. It may be time to pick up the phone and call someone. DJ Moore, Odell Beckham, Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. Ask the Chicago Bears if they got any serviceable pieces that you can go get. Go get Terry McLaurin.
Right. You can mention him. Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. Get Lamar a number 1 wide receiver. And guess what? That's going to hurt me because I'm a Bengals fan. But as a football analyst and as a podcaster, the best thing for the Baltimore Ravens is to get that guy a fucking weapon.
I totally agree with you.
If you don't sign Lamar and you do the whole fucking franchise tag, and you don't give him the long-term deal, at least you got a piece for whoever the next quarterback is after.
Exactly. There's nothing to be said on top 3. It is what it is with the 3. We know that it's Buffalo, Philly, and KC.
I was actually close to putting Minnesota ahead of Kansas City. It was the way Kansas City finished that game that kept them at 3.
Right.
For me.
Right. So we agree on most of this. I'll chunk of this anyway. So we have that. Okay. Couple of things we'll get you out of here. Your Celtics, and NBA's back. I watched that game while I was recording on Huddle Up. I had a game right next to me, and let me tell you something right now. I mean, what my only concern with the Celtics coming into the year was, I said on the Overrunners podcast a couple weeks ago, how much wins does Ime Udoka cost you? In a 1-year sample, considering that 1 year he's there and they're in the NBA Finals. I'm not saying that they're not going to be good, obviously, but how much that cost you in terms of adjustments. I gotta tell you, between watching the preseason as it was, and watching on Tuesday night rather, I mean, look, it's one game. You want to overreact to one game, but I think this team is going to be a problem. You're already seeing Malcolm Brogdon's impact already there. You're already seeing it there. I think Jason Tatum might be a low key MVP candidate this year.
I sat at a certain desk with you before a certain stream that I will not.
Yeah, remember that.
Talk about. And I told you that if I was the Boston Celtics, the first thing I would go do is I would go get a guard. Somebody along the lines of a Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah.
A couple weeks later, Boston Celtics traded for Malcolm Brogdon. Now I look like a fucking genius.
Yeah.
The problem that I see them running into right now, this is just a right now problem.
Right.
They're without Robert Williams for the first half of the regular season. Fine. You gotta find minutes from big guys to not wear them out. Blake Griffin is eventually going to miss some games because of injury. Yeah. Al Horford is getting up there in age. You can't blow those guys out in the first half of the season waiting for Rob Will to come back and then have Rob Will come out and have to play 40 minutes a night. Mm-hmm. It's not going to work. So it sucks losing Gallinari to the ACL injury because I think he would have ate a lot of those minutes.
Is he coming back possibly at the end of the year, though? I keep hearing that.
I'm not going to say he's not, but an ACL is a rough thing to come back from that quickly. If he comes back, it would be something probably closer to the playoffs, and then it would be in limited minutes, kind of like a Robert Williams last season. What I will say after watching the game on Tuesday night, love the jersey combination, by the way. I love the gold trim.
Likewise.
Very, very pretty. If they can keep that 76ers team that baffled for as long as they did, yes, the score makes it look a lot closer due to some late scoring.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that Celtics team is going to be very, very scary.
Yep.
Unless you're a team like Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Miami, or that 76ers team. Mm-hmm. If you're another team in the Eastern Conference, you're not looking forward to going to the TD Bank North Garden. You're definitely not looking forward to playing the Celtics.
Yeah, again, one game sample, but man, I was impressed.
Well,
and watching the two Jays too.
What that game last night or Tuesday night, that was the perfect game for them to come out and just blow it. Hangover, the Ime Udoka situation, not believing in the coaching staff, even though they were the guys that were under Ime and all that stuff. Yeah. If they were going to shit themselves in a game, that was the game last night.
First one, yeah.
Because you could have blamed it on any of it. Hangover, Rob being out, the Ime Udoka situation. Like, you could have put it on any of that shit. And literally you went out there and you were like, are we going to miss Ime? Yeah. Is he our guy? Absolutely. But guess what? We have unfinished business.
Yeah.
And this is the way we need to handle it.
And that's the vibe I got last night, too, watching that. I think they're going to be a problem this year. All right, one more thing I'll let you get out of here. Baseball playoffs, divisional rounds is now come and gone. Mm-hmm. A lot of talk about teams, specifically teams that are higher seeds, frustrated about not having a 7-game set as opposed to 5-game set. Now, initially when I heard that, I'm like, that's complaining, whining. We've had 5-game divisional series since we started doing this thing. But now with a 3-game set in the wild card, whatnot, that maybe it may make sense to do a 7-game in the divisional round. I've kind of sort of like see their argument now. I'm not sure I've fully come around 180 on that, but I can see the argument now moving forward. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, first off, you'd have to drop the regular season to 150 games.
Yeah.
148, something along those lines, because you can't be playing baseball in
New York,
Boston in the middle of November.
Exactly.
You can't do it. Cut and dry. Let's start there. Second off, the game of baseball, and I'm not trying to sound to talk down to the people that are going to listen to this, because I know a lot of them are baseball fans. The game of baseball, though, is the streakiest game in professional sports.
Yeah.
Basketball, you can get on a run. Hockey, you can get on a run. Baseball is something where if you're on a run and you keep playing the next day and the next day and the next day and the next day, that's something that definitely compounds and keeps going and going and going. Perfect example, the 2007 Colorado Rockies. 27-1 going into the fucking World Series. Took a week off, got the brakes absolutely blown off of them by the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah.
Because they sat around for a week. The same thing. The Dodgers sat around for a week. See you bye. And they're an older team, especially in the pitching department. Yes, their fielders are younger. They have Mookie. They have Bellinger. They have Trey Turner. Clayton Kershaw's still like 35. Yeah. Tony Gonsolin hadn't pitched in a game in like 17 days before his start. It's downtime like that is good, but it is also bad because then if you're running something 111 wins and blowing teams out of the water, see you bye. You know, let's peel back the layers here. The New York Yankees got taken to 5 games by the Cleveland Guardians, a team that had to go through the wild card. You want to know why? Because guys like Garrett Cole and Jamison Taillon and Nestor Cortez didn't pitch for like 10 days. Yeah. You can do as many simulated games as you want. It's not the same thing
not at all.
Having 35 to 40,000 people packed into a stadium. And when you're standing on the mound, you're looking around going, how the fuck am I going to get an out here? Like, that's something that you can't do that in an inter squad game or simulated game. That shit that you're on the mound and you're by yourself. You can't have a coach look at you and say, hey, throw the splitter here and fucking tell your guy to take the pitch. You fucking miss with it, it's going. And it's probably not going to fucking land. Look at Yu Darvish yesterday. That bitch still hasn't landed.
Speaking of, all that, raise your hand if you thought that all the 4 best teams in the National League this year will be gone by the NLCS. Jeez, Dodgers gone, Braves gone, Mets gone.
I didn't think all 4. I definitely didn't think all 4. But I think the when I look at the National League, real quick, Dodgers, after Jose Urias, Kershaw's old and hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Can't trust him. Gonsolin was 13 or 14-1. Look at that fucking offense. Their bullpen was a question mark the whole way through. The Mets, Scherzer was definitely hurt. Shouldn't have pitched game 1. I said that on this show.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck are you doing? Why isn't Jacob deGrom your best pitcher starting game 1? Whatever. Right. Fucking retarded. Yeah. The Braves, they ran into an absolute fucking buzzsaw.
Yeah.
The Philadelphia Phillies got hot at the right fucking time. That's more credit to the Phillies offense than a blemish against the Atlanta Braves. But hey, by the way, get rid of fucking Marcelo Zuna and fucking figure out your DH spot because he was a fucking waste of space. And who was 4th?
Cardinals.
They won that division because nobody else wanted to.
Right. They were I look
at it from this standpoint. That story was awesome to see Pujols do what he did, and to give Yachty and him the exit they deserved as being, faces of franchises. But that team wasn't beating anybody in a 3-game set, let alone a 5-game set with their disgruntled and dismantled pitching staff.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so predictions. So we're already 2 games into National League Championship Series. They're tied 1 apiece now as of half an hour ago. Yep. What was your original prediction in that series? And what is it?
I picked ring the bell in 6. Give me the Phillies.
Are you sticking to 6, Phillies?
I'm gonna stay with 6.
Okay, and in American League, Astros and Yankees.
I have banged the fucking trash cans in 6. So give me the Astros.
Yeah, and when this podcast goes to publish, it'll be already past 1 game into the series already.
It's currently 1-1 in the top of the 5th.
There we go. And this podcast by the time this podcast comes out, it will be already 1 game into the series. So, Mikey B, thank you so much for coming to the pod as always. That was good. We'll see you next week, we'll talk.
Can I plug something before?
Go ahead and plug, buddy.
If you like what we do here, you can listen to the Take 3 Wrestling podcast. Myself, Ernest, Joe, and producer Jim from the Huddle Up podcast. But that's not what I want to do right now.
Okay.
I want to do something a little different here. For those of you that live in the South Florida area that like playing baseball, or know people that like playing baseball, I actually do a podcast for my men's league in the area. I do a podcast called Sunny Days and Double Plays. You've heard me talk about it a couple times on this show on Take 3. But I need to tell you guys something, and this one hurt this morning. Be a little real with you guys here. Couple of weeks ago, friend of mine, Sean Shamonte, was involved in a jet skiing accident up in Fort Pierce. Got a text message this morning that Sean passed.
Oh no!
From the injuries. So I just want you guys at home to know that, you know, we like doing this stuff and we like having fun and we like doing these podcast things. And, you know, they're an escape for a lot of us, myself included. My co-host on the show, Ivani, was really good friends with Sean. I knew Sean well. I wouldn't say like best friend material for myself, but I know a lot of guys that are really close with him that are going through the emotions. I just want to finish my portion of this show with, you know, if you know someone you ain't talked to in a while, check in on them. Talk to them, let them know you're here for them. If not, situations like this happen and you don't get that opportunity. You know, I've got to find a way to muster enough strength to record an episode of that at some point over the next 24 to 48 hours. And I've got to find a way to put the pieces together to do that. And it's going to be rough. You know, there was a lot of raw emotion the last 2 weeks on my show with Ivani and myself. And I know this week's episode is going to be rough. I know it is. You know, it's just one of those things where people in today's society tend to think that there's always tomorrow. And I want people to take out of this situation that you're not promised to wake up tomorrow. So if there's someone in your life that you feel that you need to reach out to, or you need to tell them that you're sorry for something, or that you love them, or that something happened, you just need to fucking make the phone call. Don't wait for them. Make the phone call.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you may not get that opportunity. And that's something you got to live with for the rest of your life. So to Sean, his family, the Palm Beach Thunder, I don't know if any of these guys will ever listen to this stuff, you know, thoughts and prayers, obviously, with all them. That's all I got. Follow me on Twitter at @TheyCallMeBurn. All that fun stuff that I'll normally plug. I don't think I have the energy to vibe it up. So, you know, we'll leave it with that. Ernest, as always, much obliged. We'll be back next week for more power rankings and all that fun stuff. So.
All right, thank you, Mikey B, for coming on the podcast. As always, his perspective on things. Of course, we'll be doing that segment all throughout the NFL season. But now, guys, it is time for my Week 7 NFL Best Bets, my gambling picks for the week. Here we go. It is time. Last week went 3-2, my first winning week since week 1. Actually, that's wrong. Week 4 went 3-2 as well, too. But this has been a rough year. I am right now 14-16 for the season, so I got work to do. A lot of work to do, my friends. But here we go. First game on the docket. 5 games I pick, as always. Give me the Dallas Cowboys. The return of Dak Prescott. And I think he will shut all the doubters up this week. All this stuff about Cooper Rush and should Cooper Rush be the starting quarterback of the Cowboys? Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Dallas Cowboys win against Detroit Lions, come off the bye. Dallas Cowboys cover 7 points here, and the Cowboys are going to make. To me, in my opinion, I'm sorry. You know, we talk about like, okay, who's challenging the Eagles in the NFC right now? We don't know. Like the Vikings are good, but are the Vikings trustworthy? I don't know. Cowboys kind of the same boat too, but the Cowboys defense travels well. Just saying. So, again, give me the Dallas Cowboys to cover 7 points here. No, I'm not a Dallas Cowboys homer. I hate them also too. I'm a Giants fan. Come on now, shut up. All right, next game here we have, give me the Tennessee Titans. The only game this weekend with 2 teams winning records, Colts and Titans. The Titans have actually quietly won 3 games in a row. Give me the Titans -1 to cover against the Colts. The Colts, I don't know how good they are. They're not a terrible team. They're not a great team. I don't know. This is a must-win for the Colts, though. If they want to continue getting out of that rough start from the year, because they got lucky last week against Jacksonville. They should have lost that game, but it is what it is. But give me Tennessee, come off a bye over the Indianapolis Colts to win this week. All right, third game I like this week. Give me the backdoor champions, the Atlanta Falcons, the kings of the backdoor, 3-3. Wait, can the Falcons actually win the NFC South this year? I mean, I think we're actually discussing this 6 weeks in because the Falcons were supposed to be one of the worst teams in the league this year. With the first pick in the NFL draft. They are 3-3 and right now in the thick of things to win the NFC South. Look, I think the Bucs will win the South. Let's go there. I think Cincy, who they're playing this weekend, by the way, because you didn't mention that, Cincy will win the game. They're just a better team. They're AFC champions. Come on, let's get twisted here. But give me the Atlanta Falcons +7 for another backdoor. Make things interesting. Falcons +7 against the Bengals. That's why I like there. My fourth game is the struggling Green Bay Packers going to Washington. Washington, of course, starting Tyler Heineke, whatever his damn name is, Heineken. The Packers, they need a get-right game. I think this could be it, but I ain't touching them. Because there are real issues. There are real issues right now going on in Green Bay, okay? That I don't know if they could turn around this year, honestly, okay? Because now their defense is not playing that well on top of everything else, on top of the receivers not catching the balls. Now their defense ain't playing well now going forward. That's a problem there. So give me the under on this game. None of these teams can really score points, to be honest with you right now. So give me the under at 41.5 on Packers-Commanders. I think the Packers should win that game. But they're 3-3 and they're struggling as well. And finally, my fifth game of the weekend is going to be all the way to Monday Night Football. The Patriots also 3-3, 1-2 in a row, playing the Chicago Bears. Give me, was it Bailey Zappa or Zappy, whatever his damn name is? Whoever the case may be, Bailey Zappi and the Patriots. Give me the Patriots -9. I think they will actually dominate the Bears this week because I think honestly the Bears are not that good. I think Justin Fields has he's not. I'm not saying he's not good, not great. Whenever he opened up, could be great going forward. But honestly, that team is just terrible. That team is arguably the worst team in football right now. Okay, devoid of talent. Now their defense is actually pretty decent, somewhat, but they can't score for shit. They can't score anything. So give me Bailey Zappi and the Patriots, the comeback kids in New England and Foxborough. The Pats win and they'll cover -9 again. The Cowboys -7.5 over the Lions. The Titans -1 over the Colts. The Falcons, the backdoor again. The Bengals +7. The Packers and the Commodores or the Commanders give me the under in that game at 41.5. And then of course give me the Patriots -9 over the Chicago Bears on Monday Night Football. And there's your picks of the week. We went 3-2 last week and 14-16 for the year. We got a lot of work to do. But we will get there. God, I hope so, because it's been a rough year gambling with me in terms of the NFL this year. So there's that, and there's your picks of the week here. So anyway, and for the rest of the games now, let's go on to Zach and discuss the entire NFL slate, as I'm now up 4-2 on him this year. At least didn't do them all there. You know what I mean? So here we go. All right, now EJ for Degenerate, week number 7. I win again. I am now 4 weeks to 2 for the Degenerate Zach. Zachary, what's up, buddy?
Not much, man. If you just flip that record, I'm just like the commies, 2-4.
And I got to tell you, not to give any hope here, but if you look at the NFC playoff picture right now, I've been saying it on the podcast all week long that you have 6 3-3 teams right now in the conference. A lot of them also are teams that we thought would be Super Bowl contenders, and maybe are still Super Bowl contenders when it's all said and done later in the year. But right now, they're a lot of teams that can't get their footing right now. Like the only thing we can for sure say that the top 2 teams, Bills and Eagles, and I'll give you the Chiefs also too, because that was a tough loss against Buffalo, but they're still a great team, and I guess Minnesota too. They're the only teams thing. You think Minnesota's still fraudulent?
Absolutely fraudulent.
I don't trust them. I'll give you that. I don't trust them.
I trust your Giants more than the Vikings.
Ooh, slow down. Because this game this week's a trap game, and we'll discuss that in a second here to do our picks. All right, before we get to our picks real quick, we got 4 teams on buys this week, and go figure 3 of the 4 best teams in the league right now currently are on buys. The Bills, the Vikings, the Eagles, and the Rams. This is about, obviously, easy answer here. Of these 4 teams, who needs to buy the most?
Oh, the Rams.
Yes, that's
They need to be
very
out
easy.
there shopping for an offensive lineman and a coach.
Coach.
Not a head coach.
Oh, okay, what to say? Sean McVay. McVay just won a Super Bowl like less than a year ago.
Dude, they got to get a new quarterback whisperer or something, though.
Yeah.
Stafford has looked like shit most of the season.
Yeah, he has. He really has. I haven't seen one complete. Well, I've seen probably only one complete Rams game this year, and that's why they're not my top 10 this week. That's why. So, anyway, here we go. Thursday football tonight. We have the Saints heading to Arizona to face the Cardinals. The Cardinals are currently 2-point favorites. The over/under is 44 points. Ah, man. Well, the good news of the Cardinals, they get D-Hop back. Finally. That's good news. And they got Robbie Anderson, too, also a receiver in a trade. Who knows if that helps Kyler Murray.
Hey, he's a decent receiver.
Oh, yeah, he's not without being a little dick on the fucking sideline with his coach. Look, the Saints have been kind of frisky at times, but they're not, like I said, they're not a great team. I like the over here, actually, on this one.
I'm the same way. I feel like it's begging you to call to bet on the Cardinals, but it is Hopkins' first game back. He's had maybe 2 practices, if that. So there's timing cannot be on right now. So I'd just take the over.
Yeah. All right, next game here. We go to Sunday games now, 1 o'clock. We have the Atlanta Falcons, the surprise Atlanta Falcons, heading to Cincinnati to face the Bengals. The Bengals are currently 7-point favorites. The over/under is 47.5. Zach, you liking this one?
Let's go Atlanta. Bring on Mariota. Look,
You've been actually being on the Falcons' direction a little bit.
people killed him. He was not terrible. He got put into a situation where he basically froze. He coughed up being the team leader in Tennessee. He got to have a couple years off, and now he's good.
I've always liked Mariota. The problem is he's going to stay healthy, but he's won a playoff game too. On top of that, and I'm also I like the Bengals to win this game outright because they're a better team. Let's be clear there. But this has been also the king of the backdoors. But the Falcons have been the king of the backdoor this year, so I think they'll backdoor and cover late. Give me the Falcons on the points here as well.
I think it's going to be close all game.
You think so?
Look, Cincinnati's offensive line is still in shambles. Until they fix that, every team is going to be able to compete with Cincinnati.
Okay. Next game here, we have the Detroit Lions headed to Dallas to face the Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys are 7.5-point favorites. The over/under is 49 points. Dak Prescott officially cleared to play. He's been medically cleared, and he will start on Sunday. And I think Dallas, they need a get-right game. Although I tell you what, I still feel good about this team even after losing to Philadelphia on Sunday. Give me Cowboys to cover. I think the Lions are done. I think all the feel good of the Lions coming in the year, that's all been evaporated now. The Cowboys are the better team by far. And I think with that being back, I think that's going to silence all the doubters. The people who are saying, "Oh, we got to start Cooper Rush." No, that person's the starting quarterback for this team going forward. Give me Dallas cover the spread and then some.
How lucky could you be as a quarterback coming back from injury, all those weeks off, and you get to go against Detroit, number 32 in defense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll take Dallas as well.
Yeah, so far you and I are in the same boat, 3 for 3. All right, next one here we have now this is by virtue of record, this is the game of the week. I don't think it's a game of the week, obviously, but this is by virtue of record. This is the only game on the slate that has both teams over 500. Okay?
Really?
Yeah, the Indianapolis Colts heading to Tennessee face the Titans. Yeah, the Colts also 3-2-1. Yeah, who would have thunk that? The Titans are 1-point favorites. The over-under is 42.5. I want the Colts to win, obviously. I hate the Titans. But the Colts, they look so inconsistent. They get lucky against the Jaguars. They can't seem to, 1 week they get lucky. Next week they get their asses kicked by the Jaguars or another team. They should have lost to Denver 2 weeks ago on that putrid Thursday night game. Give me Tennessee here on this one. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, obviously, but give me Tennessee.
You can't be wrong. I mean, they honest to God should be 0-2 against Jacksonville, who is one of the worst teams in the league. So, yeah, give me Tennessee. And I can't believe you brainwashed me into thinking Indianapolis was going to be good.
Why you listen to me in the first place? Well, 3-2-1, but I met Ryan, made a little lease on life, but no, you're right. All right, next one here. This is your game. The Green Bay Packers and the Washington face the Commanders. The Packers are 5-point favorites. The over/under is 41.5. Taylor Heineke will be starting for the Commanders as Carson Wentz is going to heal up his finger out 4 to 6 weeks. I mean, I want to say it's the get right game for the Packers here because they've been struggling. But I don't know if I can trust to cover a spread here, especially on the road.
I'll help you out. Washington DBs are atrocious. He doesn't have to worry about the receivers catching the ball because all they'll do is get pass interference. So it'll be okay.
I'm taking the under.
The under.
Yeah, we
The
do
one
this
thing Heineke can do is score some points. He does move the ball.
Yeah, you got
I'm
Washington.
taking Green Bay to cover.
Finally, we got an opposite here. Finally. All right. Next one. Tampa Buccaneers heading to Carolina face the Panthers. The struggling Bucks are 12-point favorites. The over/under is 40.5. That spread, for the record, reflects on how bad the Panthers are, not how good the Bucks are, because the Bucks have not been good this year. Let's be clear about that. Question for you: that whole Tom Brady going to the wedding thing, the Robert Kraft's wedding on Friday night, and missing walkthroughs and all that, big deal or no deal?
Oh, I would like to say it's a big deal. I mean, it just shows his class at this point. He could care less about being with the teammates, setting an example, putting in the time. Now he thinks he can just go through the motions, and when he struggles on the field, it's everybody else's fault but his.
Ooh, that's some tough words on Brady to go, buddy.
Dude, I don't even think it. I mean, that was totally dickish to do on a Friday night before a Sunday game with your team. But his head's all fucked up right now.
Only that, though. Why is Robert Kraft having a fucking wedding during football season on a Friday night?
Because it's a 47-year-old woman who wants to get married to him. Hot
Yeah,
doctor who said, you know what? I don't care if you go to rubbing tubs.
I want your money.
That's it. I want that money from my hospital.
I got Bucks here on the cover. I think this is a get right moment for them because they need it. And then why not the Panthers? PJ Walker's the quarterback. Come on now.
I'll take the over in the game.
Oh, that's not a bad number too. 40.5. Not bad. All right, next one here. The New York Football Giants heading to Jacksonville face the Jaguars. The Jags are 3-point favorites. The over/under is 42.5. This game was hard to pick. This is a trap game for the Giants. What's the last time I can say that about the Giants team? That hey, you guys are actually pretty good, and this is a trap game because trap games are set for teams that are decent. They have not been that in 5 years at least. I'm gonna go Jags here. This is a
You are
trap.
an absolute fucking embarrassment as a Giant fan.
I mean, the play might have to be the slide over here though.
Do you know who Jacksonville's lost to?
They lost to Indy. They lost to you guys.
Yeah.
They lost to what the fuck does that matter?
Houston. Right?
Houston.
They've lost to garbage teams because they are a garbage team. And you are scared to take your Giants?
All right, give me the over, buddy. Give me the over.
Give me the Giants.
Wow, you're on a bandwagon now. Oh wow, look at this guy.
It ain't a bandwagon. I know who they're playing this week.
All right, next one here. Cleveland Browns heading to Baltimore to face the Ravens. The Ravens are 6.5-point favorites. The over/under is 45.5. Baltimore needs to get right game here. Give Baltimore to cover the spread and then son. This is gonna be a blowout. I think Lamar's gonna go fucking ape shit after what happened last week. Give Baltimore.
Give me the over.
Ooh. Okay.
Look, No lead is safe in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
So safest bet to me has got to be the over.
Yeah, but this is the Browns, buddy. The Browns have given up in the season already.
Oh, they're not giving up. Aren't they like a game out of first?
Yeah, but I mean, they should be up 2 games ahead of those teams right now, based on how they've lost games this year. So,
yeah,
all right,
you could say Baltimore should be undefeated. Look, they ain't
they're
giving up.
very close. They're 5 minutes. They're combined 5 minutes to be undefeated.
So all I can say is there's no way they're giving up. Give me the over.
All right, next one. New York Jets. Wow, 4-2. Head to Denver, face the Broncos. It's a pick'em. Who would have thought this would have been pick'em before the year started? The over-under is 38 points. I'm going to give Denver one more shot, man. I know it's still logical behind what I'm saying here, but I'm going to give Denver one more shot. Come on, Russ. Turn it around finally.
I don't know what I feel safer about. Taking the under or taking the Jets. That's how little I feel for one of your goats. One of your all-time goats.
Taking the under?
Yep, I'm going to do the under. I feel like a 13-10 game coming on here.
It could happen, man. It could happen. I'm not going to lie. That could happen. All right, next one. Houston Texans head to Vegas to face the Raiders. The Raiders now are 7.5-point favorites. The over-under is 45.5. We the Vegas Raiders here. I think, week off last week. The 1-4, but they're not out of it, man. There's no separation right now in the AFC. And if you can win a couple games here, do you believe in Jets? Come on, I don't necessarily macro wise. I know the Patriots are still 3-3. Why do you believe in them? I don't know. No, they're not out of it yet. But this is a huge game for the Raiders to turn things around. Bye week this past, the Raiders to cover the spread, then some. Statement game.
Davis Mills with that extra half a point. I got no fear. No fear.
You told me to tease his shit down then. Okay.
Man, I'm telling you, there's a chance that freaking Houston could pull out the victory.
You going Houston?
Yes.
Wow. Dude, if Houston wins this game out the gate, just fire Josh McDaniels. Seriously. Just fire him. All right.
Dude,
all right, next.
I honestly believe the Jets will win in Denver.
To pick them. Anything's possible. Right? Denver's playing now. Denver might want one of the 5 worst teams in football right now. They could be.
Not with your GOAT. I mean, he's the GOAT.
I get it, man. I totally get it. All right. Next one here. We have the Seattle This is an interesting game here. Seattle Seahawks heading to LA to face the Chargers. The Chargers are 6-point favorites. The over-under is 51 points. Call me crazy. This is kind of a high spread. Given how Seattle's played this year. And the Chargers aren't having, they're banged up and haven't really played any dominant football in quite a while, if at all, this year. That feels like a high spread there.
What is Vegas their $82 million corner? How do you bench your corner 5 weeks into the season?
Vegas knows something here. Where are you going in this game?
Oh, I'm taking Seattle plus the points.
That's kind of where I want to go, but then I'm thinking maybe they just have it set like this because they want you to take Seattle the points.
They can't get it up to 7 because as soon as it hits 7, people pound it.
Man. Fuck it, I'm going Chargers. Let's fuck it. This for the ratio. See what happens.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to bet the game, though. I'll tell you that right now. All right, next one here. We have this is actually the game of the week. Kansas City Chiefs heading to San Francisco face the Niners. The Chiefs are 2.5-point favorites. The over-under is 48.5. Niners need to get right game here. They need one. But you're playing the wrong team on the wrong week after losing to Buffalo last week. Man. I'll take KC on a I'll take KC slightly in this one in a very competitive game. Super Bowl. Huh?
This is a get-right game for Kansas City.
That's what I'm saying.
Kelsey's got to be sniffing a matchup with Kettle.
Yeah.
Kittles, whatever.
Skittles.
So I mean, I look for a ton of points on the Kansas City side.
You on
Whether or
KC
not
also?
the defense travels, who knows?
Team KC?
Yep.
All right, two more games here on the slate. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers heading to Miami down here. Face the Dolphins. The Dolphins are 8-point favorites. The over-under is 45. Am I nuts to think this spread is way too high, given that we don't know how Tua's going to look on Sunday?
Is Tua officially named the starter?
Yeah, Tua's going to play.
I just pray he makes it through the game without a concussion.
Me too, man.
If he gets a third one this close, you know doctor's going to be stepping in.
Yeah. I want to take Pittsburgh the points here just because of the fucking 8 points, man. It's like the San Diego game. It's the same thing, like it's set so perfect. Like, Pittsburgh. I mean, last week they were giving they got 10 points and they covered. Can they do it again? I don't know. Where are you going this one?
I was thinking of the over in the game.
I'll take Pitt on the points. Miami by 7. Miami wins the game, but they'll win by a touchdown.
Either Tua shows out, or there's going to be a ton of turnovers.
And they said too also if Pickett clears protocol, he's started on Sunday. That's what Tomlin said. So something to watch.
Yeah,
all right, and final,
2 weeks or so.
Say that again.
I thought he was going to be out 2 to 3 weeks.
They could keep him out 2 weeks because of safety. That's the trend these days. All right, finally, last game of the week, we have a Monday Football. We have the Chicago Bears heading to New England face the Patriots in a Super Bowl 20 rematch. Pats are favored by 9 points. Over under 39.5. Pats are impressed with the last couple weeks.
They have. Third stringer, who knew?
Bailey Zappi. Who would have thought? And I think he'll start this week too, also. If I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna go old school Pats here. Give me Pats to cover the spread. That's Chicago's not good. This is not good. And I feel like they're failing Justin Fields here, honestly.
I'm going to actually take the under in the game.
Okay. No scoring, huh? None.
I see them pretty much shutting down Chicago to maybe 3 field goals, but I could also see the Patriots not scoring at all. They could struggle. Chicago's got a decent defense.
Yeah, they do. They do. Should have won last week against Washington. They were literally like a grass away from winning that game.
They should have blown out Washington. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, that's why I tell you, how bad is Jacksonville then? Chicago could have blown out Washington.
Mm-hmm.
So Jacksonville, stop betting them.
All right. Quick FSU minute. Yeah, you thought you picked us to beat Clemson last week, and
we almost had a chance.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, and it's probably to call me a bad fan all you want. I was so disgusted how we were playing going to the third quarter. I turned the game off. I was so fucking pissed off.
Oh my god!
I was so beyond pissed.
It had gotten really sad.
Yeah,
because it was essentially like a 17-point swing in the span of less than 5 minutes.
Right.
And that was rough.
Yeah. That was rough. Made the game late, though. But whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, Zach, we got your picks, as always. And enjoy some NBA basketball. It's back.
Yeah.
Go Magic.
I can't wait to win 20 games again. Oh, how lucky.
You can always be a Heat fan, but you still choose to be an Orlando Magic fan. That's on you.
Yeah, no. I switched my affiliation years ago to Steph Curry and
You did. All right, Zach. We'll talk soon, man. Later. Thank you, Zach, as always, for each Degenerate, as we've been doing this for years and years and years. By the way, off record here, I need to tell my wife this because I'm between segments and stuff, I've been drinking iced tea lately doing my podcast, and I got to tell you, eating more than water especially when I'm podcasting, and I podcast a lot these days. We do 2 of these shows a week, but a lot of it also is break up into segments. And also the wrestling podcast I do on Thursdays. Take your wrestling podcast as always. And then I do Hull Up on Tuesdays as well, too, with a football show with Jim and Kyle and Matt. I got to tell you, iced tea has been my saving grace and keep my throat in check and keep me quenched and whatnot, because I love water. Water is not as, it doesn't hold my it quench my thirst the same way as iced tea does. Whenever I drink iced tea, though, I feel like it's getting the job done. You know what I'm saying? It's getting the job done for me. So yeah. I tell my wife to make sure we keep the unsweetened iced tea on our menu moving forward, because it's been fantastic for me, especially with doing podcasts and whatnot, and the amount of podcasts I've been doing now this fall. Anyway, let's see what's on the talk here before we get out of here. As you said earlier on the pod, Dak Prescott's come back for the Cowboys this week. So is Tua. I'll say it again. I am very scared for Tua this week. My heart will be in my throat watching that Sunday game against the Steelers. I just hope he gets through that game okay. Tua, please don't take any unnecessary hits. Throw the ball away, please. Obviously, I don't want him, to have to go through what he went through the last couple of weeks. Obviously, he said to in a presser on Wednesday or whatever it was, that he didn't remember getting car off the field in Cincinnati. I mean, just hearing that is just we love football. We do love football. We love the sport, and obviously personal accountability and all that it matters here. But if he wants to play, obviously let him play. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to be uncomfortable in watching him play. Obviously, but my thoughts were going to be with Tua the entire night watching the Sunday game. As I said earlier with Mike, we are in the middle of the NL and ALCS right now, so we haven't done a top 5 in a while. I want to give my top 5 most disliked baseball teams, because I actually had a situation where it almost played out where the 2 of the most hated teams I have in baseball almost were in NLCS, and given I'm a Met fan and things ended for us, this would have added a lot of disgust to me, of course. So here's my top 5 most disliked baseball teams of all time. Number 5, I have the Washington Nationals. For no other reasons than they're a division rival, and I just never liked them. Just never liked them ever. Don't know why. Just never liked them. Never been a fan ever. No other reason. I think it's Washington. But it's never been a fan. Number 4, the St. Louis Cardinals, and I respect the Cardinals as a record. I just don't like them. Again, one of those teams where, and I think the 2006 they broke my heart, especially too, even with the N.A. Chavez catch and all that, and still can't stand the Cardinals. But I respect the Cardinals though. They're like how I am with the Celtics in basketball, or with the Spurs in basketball, or the Patriots in football for the matter too. Like, I don't like you guys, but I respect the hell out of you guys, because you guys have done so much great for the sport, and you guys have also been just you're just annoying. That's all it is. You're annoying. It's a respectful thing. So this one is 2B and 2A. This is tied. So this is technically the third one, but this is 2B. 2B is LA Dodgers. I can't stand the Dodgers, and my disdain for the Dodgers goes way back to 1988 when they beat the New York Mets in the NLCS, and I was 8 years old, and I argued that Met team in '88 was better than the Met team in '86 that won the World Series. So, and that Dodgers team was on a heater, and Earl Scherzizer and those bastards, of course, but I've always hated the Dodgers. I can't help it, and I'm friends with a lot of Dodgers fans too, and they're insufferable at times. So it is what it is. I'm jealous, yes, but I'm still stunned they lost. They lost to the Padres. I mean, I'm stoked. I mean, I know we lost to the Padres in the wild card round, but you know what? If we're gonna get it, at least Dodgers get it too as well. 2B for me is New York Yankees. You guys don't hate the Yankees so much. It's weird for me though, because the Yankees, because I'm a Giants fan, for example. Most Giants fans are also Yankee fans. So I do break bread with a lot of those folks throughout the fall. A lot of my friends are dire Giants fans like me, or also Yankee fans. But I'll tell you what made me really hate the Yankees growing up. It was my brother, my younger brother Maurice. And when he got into baseball, especially, is around the time the Yankees really won that heater with Jeter, the peak years with Jeter and company, when they won the World Series 96 and 98, 99, 2000. And he would talk so much shit and all that, and to the point it's got in my skin. So he made me hate the Yankees. I never hated the Yankees as much as I did until after I became an adult, honestly. I always didn't mind the Yankees when I was a Met fan, but once he started using that as a way to talk shit to me, it's Screw you. So ever since then, I've hated the Yankees because of him. And the thing is, their team now, a very likable team. So, but man, my brother made me hate that team so much. He really did. So, number one for me, of course, everybody knows I hate all things Philadelphia. The Phillies, of course. Moving the Padres, of course, in the series. Makes it even harder now too, where I'm now doing a podcast with guys, not necessarily Big Jim on the Huddle Up podcast, but also with Matthew Muleisen, who comes on the show from time to time, and he's a diehard Phillies fan, but also an asshole about it too. So we go back and forth on Twitter and whatnot, and he really lays it in with me too. So he's made the rivalry even more of a heated thing for me now. So. The Phillies, for me, are my most hated baseball team still to this day. So, again, 1 Phillies, 2 A Yankees, 2 B Dodgers, 4 Cardinals, and 5 the Washington Nationals are my top 5 most hated teams. By the way, I created a top 5 playlist on my YouTube page. You can check it out, of course, at Ernest EJ Christian on YouTube. There's a top 5 page. I'm going to start clipping a lot more of these some of these shows I really slacked on. A lot of clips I want to put up on the page, but I created a top 5 clips page, so this will be on there as well too. Couple more things we get out of here. Some wrestling news. Chris Jericho is signing a 3-year extension with AEW. To be doing, he'll have a more expanded role, working backstage and all that. For all the crap that Jericho gets from people, and there are times that he deserves the criticism and whatnot, but he's been relatively, you talk about CM Punk being a failure in this 1 year he was in AEW in the last 3 months, especially too, before all this shit happened. Chris Jericho, for the most part, has been great. He's done the thing the right way. He's gotten guys over the right way, between the inner circle, between the Jericho Appreciation Society, and getting guys over that I wouldn't care about. Chris Jericho's doing the damn thing right. CM Punk should take notes next time. So he's the guy that a big ego, and sometimes he can be a little annoying at times, and whatnot. But he's doing wrestling the right way, and he's doing as an elder statement. He's doing it the right way. Prayers up and for Adam Hangman Page. I didn't watch Dynamite on Tuesday night because I was doing this podcast and other things, whatnot. But he had a concussion in his match against. Was it John Moxley he wrestled on Dynamite Tuesday? Whatever it may be. He took a hard fall, and we got to think about him. He did tweet yesterday that he's okay and he's in good spirits, all that. But obviously, prayers are up for Adam Hangman Page. By the way, I hope they put a title back on him soon, because what they did with giving CM Punk the title in May instead of him keeping it is beyond me. It still has ruined AEW for me as of the last 6 months. So, all right, finally, before I go, also we mentioned Kanye West on the show a couple weeks ago. He made some comments about how basically the George Floyd thing was that he died of fentanyl. George Floyd's family is now suing Kanye West for, I believe, was it $250 million? Now, I don't know if they actually have a case still, because here's the problem. George Floyd is dead. So I don't know if a defamation case will actually go anywhere, honestly. And I say that because I'm comparing it to the situation where when the Michael Jackson documentary came out a couple years ago, and people were saying that the estate should sue, the accusers for making these accusations. And then, but apparently you don't, once you're dead, you don't have any ground to stand on. I don't know how that works out. I'm glad they sued Kanye just for the ratio, man, because sometimes, you fuck around and find out, and look, I've said on this podcast, and I'll say it again. I will defend Kanye West's right to free speech. Always. Even if I don't agree with him. But that doesn't mean you're free of consequences. Big difference, okay? So maybe they spoke to a lawyer, and they said that there's a direction to in this, that it's possible they can get something out of this. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But they officially have sued Kanye West, and there's a possibility that also not just Kanye West, but also Candace Owens, that she was involved in that too. That she might be involved also in the lawsuit as well too. Involved in getting sued by the family as well too. So anyway, that is it for me. This week, don't forget, we are starting the Earnestly Speaking Sessions podcast this coming November. Again, I have not decided if I'm going to do it on this feed or start on a new feed in itself, but we'll keep you updated on that. Again, thank you to Zach and Mike coming on the show as always. I am on Twitter at EJChristian7, Earnest Speaking Podcast across all podcast catchers. Especially, please subscribe to my YouTube page at Ernest EJ Christian as well. Talk to you guys soon. We'll talk soon. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy football. Enjoy basketball, too. It's back, baby. And later.